I think what we see globally is that customers want to be treated like a valued customer. The one and done approach to customer service is important everywhere. It's important that companies respect people's time. It's important that people get their problems or their questions resolved on the first contact with the company. But I think increasingly, as either in economies like China, where people have more disposable income, or in economies like, say, US, UK, where people are still facing the economic downturn, people increasingly want to be treated like a valued customer. Very simply, it means retention. It's much easier to retain an existing customer than it is to acquire a new customer. And so whereas customer satisfaction is a differentiator, it's going to mean a significant contribution to your bottom line because it means retention. There are two things it really means. First of all is churn, which goes directly to a company's bottom line. And furthermore, perhaps even more significantly in some markets, it means reputation for the company. So what we found in China is that 97% of people who have a bad experience tell somebody about it. And the second or third most popular way to tell people about it was through social networks. Now, if we compare that with the reasons that people do business with a company, in the top three in every demographic was the reputation, that this was a trusted brand. And so if you compare those two, social networking becomes increasingly important to the reputation of a company. And so companies need to be listening and engaging and deciding how they want to engage with these increasingly important channels. Companies are increasingly gearing up to address this channel. They recognize it's a critical part of their reputation and of their reputation globally, in fact. We have customers that have dedicated groups looking at their approach to social media. Insofar as that's happening with major companies around the world, it's going to translate and trickle down into an effect within the contact center where you have people who are dedicated to these roles. They're already there today. It's just going to grow. I think when we look at the IVRs, what we see is that some of the interfaces aren't quite as mature or sophisticated as they are maybe in the US and the UK, where you've got fairly mature systems that have been tweaked and designed over many, many years. I think the IVR is a place where there's a great room for improvement in mainland China. I think when we look at customer experience, we need to think, however, not only about inbound contacts, but also outbound notifications. So if I'm a customer of an airline, for example, it would be great to have a proactive notification telling me that my flight is delayed or that my upgrade has been granted. So when we talk about texting or the various channels, we need to look at both directions of communication with the customers. Well, I think that certainly markets like the Philippines and India are going to continue to be very important for the English-speaking markets around the world. I think mainland China is going to be a very interesting market for mainland China. I think that you have not only a large consumer base now, but also a large working class, and I think between the two you can marry the two so that you'll see China playing an increasing role in BPO or outsourcing as we call it, but domestically. So it won't be offshore BPO to China, but China will be for China when it comes to customer care and outsourcing. I think that each market needs to look at what its competitive differentiation is going to be. I think first and foremost you've got to have skilled, educated workforce that's going to be manning the phone, so to speak. You also have to have good connectivity, reliable connectivity. But again, I think it's not a matter of just everybody suddenly doing English support. I think speaking with people in Malaysia, for example, or Vietnam, they're doing a very good job of asking themselves, what is my competitive differentiator? What is my mission for my customers? And then focus on that. Because I think that's how they're going to drive success in this area.